Go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea with Laurie. It's so great to have you back. I can't believe a month has gone by already. So much has happened for me, and I'm hoping that wonderful things have happened for you. So I thought we would start with my tea tip because I got this wonderful new tea. Oops, too much light. It's called passion fruit tea. It's a all natural tropical black tea, and my dear friends Tom and Mark brought it back from Hawaii. So it's Hawaiian tea, so I get this feeling I'm in Hawaii when I drink it, and it's just delicious with a little bit of honey. So anyway, I think we'll start by doing a meditation. I could really use one today because I'm not very centered. Um, uh, I'm going to give everyone just a couple more seconds to get settled in and be on. But it's really wonderful. I'm leaving for Texas tomorrow. I'm teaching at Texas School for a week. This will be my third year. And I just want to welcome all of my new students. I know a bunch of you were going to watch for the first time to kind of get your creative juices rolling so we can just really walk into our class on Sunday night. And I know a lot of the people that have been following me have been my students from Texas from Texas School from the past 2 years. So hello to all of you. And yes, it's true. The classes in Texas and everything in Texas is big. It's just really big and wonderful and just heart opening. So anyway, so we're going to start with a meditation. So I want you guys to get really, really comfortable and just center yourself. Just feel your butt on your chair or whatever you're sitting on and take a deep breath in. And then just exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. And as you exhale, just feel the day just lightening up and leaving you. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, just feel light. Just feel totally present in this moment. Nobody needs you. Nothing needs to be done. You just need to be in your body and to be present and tapped into yourself. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. On the next breath, just see like this ball of light coming into the top of your head. Feel it around your temples. Feel how it just burns away all negativity and any thoughts that just you don't need to have anymore right now. Deep breath in and feel the ball of light just drop down around your face. And as it does, just feel your facial expression relax. Feel you becoming calm. Feel that glow of that white light. And then feel it into your neck. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, just feel your throat area. Just relax. Just be present. Now the light is going to separate and it's going to go to both shoulders. And they're just balls that are coming down. And as they come down, they're just pulling all the tension from away, all your thoughts of the day. So as they come down your upper arm, you may feel a tinglingness in your arms. And then another deep breath in. And as you exhale, feel the exhalation in your elbows and your lower arms. Deep breath in and just feel it all go out through your fingertips. Just feel how light you are. Then come back in to your heart area. Deep breath in and exhale. And then the light just will drop down to your stomach and just feel it glowing and just feel maybe giddy and excited. But just let go of the day. Deep breath in. Exhale that ball down around your pelvic area. Deep breath in, and the ball's going to drop down to your upper thighs. And just feel your legs relax down your knees. Deep breath in, relax your calves. Deep breath in, relax your ankles. And then feel the light of the balls just go into your feet. And with your next deep breath in, and exhale, just feel it, just the energy and the tension just seep right through your toes. So let's just take 3 deep breaths to integrate this little meditation so that you're relaxed and you're present and ready to talk about creativity. Deep breath in Exhale out. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Deep breath in. Exhale and let go of the day. So thank you all for being here with me today. Last week was really amazing. I want to thank James, but before I do, I'm just going to put up a quick slide on my giveaway. I'm going to be giving something away at the end of my Tea with Laurie talk today. It's my pet of things that I love doing, and it's a little bit of a surprise. So at the end of my session, we will be giving away, and I'll tell you how to be eligible for it. Okay, so I'm not seeing it on my main screen, but hopefully you guys are all seeing it. Okay, so James was on last month, and thank you all. I love feedback. I love hearing from all of you. I know many of you are my students, and many of you are just people that just have this incredible desire and for creativity in their life and in their world. And James helped so many people. He filled the sessions that he offered, so that was really wonderful. And I know he's working with some of you more permanently. And like I've said to you, he's just been so amazing for me. If you remember last time, I told you about having 65 new followers on Instagram in like a week because I was hashtagging as James told me. So I just want you to know that I've had 150 more follow me on Instagram. So I don't know exactly what's happening, but I must be doing something right. So it's a process, as is creativity and as is art. But James, just James, people just loved your ideas, loved your thoughts, and you've really given them like gems to work with to help them structure the business and the branding end of their creativity. So he'll be back on later. We're going to do Ask James. This is going to be the first month we're doing that. So you'll have the opportunity to ask him specific questions. So you can go onto Twitter and hashtag Tea with Laurie and ask James questions, or you can go into the group chat and you can actually type in questions there. You should be able to see that on the right side of your screen. And we will be fielding those questions, and hopefully we'll have time to answer yours. So my thinking is probably around 9:30, 9:35, we'll be talking about the questions that you guys have submitted for him. So I was talking a little bit about my giveaway. And what I've been doing is, many of you know that I Skype. We talk about coaching. Coaching is so important for us to get to the next step. It's so easy for us to repeat our patterns, to repeat things that don't work or things that do work, but also sometimes we want to branch out and to expand. So there's lots of ways to do that. There's lots of great books out there. Some of you have worked with me with Skypes. I'm working on personalized tutorials, which are short Skype sessions where people come in with a specific thing, like a specific project, like I want to learn infrared, or I want to do a book, or I want to have a gallery show. So it's very specific, and that's really the key tonight, is being specific on what you want and also the clarity for it. So you know, I pick a card. All of you that are in my classes know that we pick a card at every workshop every day, and this is the Louise Hay cards. I did buy 2 new decks to take with me to Texas, so I'm very excited. But this card is just perfect for today. I claim my own powers, and again, I picked this for the class with the class in mind. I claim my own power, and I lovingly create my own reality. That is so true. Words become things. I ask for more understanding so that I may knowingly and lovingly shape my world and my experiences. So, you know, we always have many ways to look at something. We can see the glass half full, or we can see it half empty. So I had an aha moment today, and I have an aha moment slide that is going to come up. And Probably about 4 o'clock, 4:30, I was texting my daughter-in-law, and at the same time, I was packing up for Texas school and getting ready to finish up my talk and my thoughts for Tea with Laurie. My computer, I have a big screen computer, and all of a sudden it went out. We lost power. And I'm like freaking out. Like, what happens if the power doesn't come on? And I'm like getting ahead of myself. And I just said, well, if my students did that, I would not say that was a good way to react. But I let myself react. And then I just took some really deep breaths in and I relaxed. And I said, okay, there's always a solution to everything. There's a solution to our business. It's a solution to our creativity. There's solutions to our personal life. There's solutions to finding airline reservations. So as I calmed down, I went outside and my neighbor Gary came down and sat next to me and he says, no electricity and you've got tea with Laurie tonight. I said, yep. And James doesn't know it yet, but I may end up at his house. So there was solutions, and I used that as my metaphor, my aha moment tonight, which is like that. I think that's gifts. I think when we pay attention and observe things that happen in our life, I think gifts are given to us. One of the things that my Texas school kids are going to get next week is that we have a tendency not to, we just shoot. We go out and photograph, or we make art and we just put pen to paper without observing, without feeling, without thinking. And that doesn't always work because we're so in the moment that we're not in the moment. We're so doing that we don't take that moment to participate and observe. So what happened with the whole panic attack with the electricity going off and my mind going on about all these things that could happen, I said, the electricity will be back on. Otherwise, I have other options. And I just really relaxed into it. And I know, like I said, I knew there would be solutions. So aha moments are great. Also, look at the metaphor. I was without light. Light's always inside of me, so it's always there. We don't have to go dark because then it takes you hours or days to get back from, going to the depths of things. So that's my aha moment, and it's all about faith and trust. So we're talking about roadmaps. Roadmaps of being creative, roadmaps to having our dreams come true, but we have to have clarity. Now, most of you have seen my posts because I've been posting a lot the past few weeks on, certain questions like, how do you define yourself? How do you see yourself as an artist? Who are you as an artist? Who are you as a creative? Now, I would love for some of you to come over to the side bar, to the group chat. I liked it the first time when you guys were talking kind of behind my back. So you're like kids, getting excited about things. So if you have some questions, or if you have some things, that you have thought about, like, who are you as a creative? Who are you as an artist? How do you see yourself? Please share and we can talk about that. I think you can also hashtag it, and James will find it on Twitter and then send it up to me. So that's a really interesting question. And one of the things I do is journal. Now, I know some of you have read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Fantastic book. And it's basically a book for recovering creatives, people that are trying to get their creativity back and also have it on a daily basis. I find if I don't write or shoot every day, I lose touch with that creative kind of juicy side of me. This is my journal, and most of my classes I have people bring journals, because this is where you make notes, you make ideas, you make, you jot down little messages to yourself. Also, with what Julie Cameron talks about is just doing 3 pages, morning pages every day. And sometimes it can be, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Why is she making me do this? Why do I have to do this? What good is it going to do? Sometimes it can be just to get something out, because we get so stuck. And when we're creating, we don't want to be stuck. We want it to flow.
Laurie?
Yes?
We have one person so far that says, I'm afraid to define myself, but that also stops me from being able to choose a direction that I'm going in.
Well, I think that's really brilliant, because we're all like that. If we define or we commit to something, that's kind of scary. So one of the things too with writing, what if you just had a play date and you just said, hey, if I could do anything I wanted to do, this is what I would do. And how would you define yourself? The other way is to capitalize on who you are. Like, I love people. So I want to capitalize on what it is I am authentic about. So who are you authentically as a creative? Who are you authentically as a person? So write that down. And, you know, the question that I did pose, and it's really the last question I'm going to ask tonight, is who would you be, or what would your life look like if you weren't afraid? So maybe that's what you want to journal. What are you afraid of? What's keeping you from that? And what's the worst thing that can happen if you went in that direction? So James, can you repeat that again for everybody?
I'm afraid to define myself, but that's also holding me back from picking a direction.
So one other comment about that is sometimes we just need to move in the direction. You can ask my kids, I have done crazy things, but I kept moving. And there's a lot of things that never went to fruition, but I just did it and I stuck with it for a period of time. And then if it didn't serve me anymore, I let go. So that was a really great question. Thank you and I hope I helped you on that. But I would try writing. Or shooting, because sometimes if we look at our photographs or make art, you can see the answers. Like if you're getting all these images that are of branches on the ground that are cracked, something's going on. What's that trying to say to you? What's the story? So any other questions, James?
Still waiting on some. I'm looking at the Google Plus page. We're looking at Twitter on the hashtag Tea with Laurie, and we're looking at the group chat right now. I think this is kind of a sensitive topic for some people really defining themselves, so it might be something that they're afraid to put out there, but I think maybe knowing that this is a safe space for the tribe is something that they need to be reassured of, Laurie.
Right. Sometimes it's vulnerable, and that's the basis of being a creative. If you're vulnerable and you let things out, there's a different trust, and you realize you're not being judged. And this is a very safe space. You're not going to be judged. And more times than not, we're the ones that are judging ourselves instead of other people judging. And I guarantee you, when that person asked those questions, somebody else wished they had to ask those questions. Those are vital questions that everybody seems to ask themselves. So, maybe that's something later on for visual visionaries to write it down. And I'm not going to name any names, but I know one of my students in Texas school wrote to me this morning saying, I'm freaking out. I don't know if I'm ready for this class. I'm not sure if I'm ready to find my visual voice and find out who I am. So if we don't know, what our core purpose is in life and who we are as a creative, it gets even scarier. Like, I know I am a photographer. I know I love photographing people. I love photographing people in relationships to the landscape. So those are all things that are building blocks. So you have to kind of figure out what the building blocks are. And another way to do it is go look at artists' work who you really admire and really like, and see what they're about. See what they're, testing and trying and doing, and who they are as creatives. And it may help you. It's a very interesting thing, because I come out of academia, which is, I have a BFA and an MFA in photography, so I taught. So the students were not necessarily, and me included, we didn't necessarily learn how to make a living. We were doing our fine art. We were learning how the process went. And with that process, we learned how to trust it, and we knew it ebbed and flowed. You don't always have these moments where photographs or paintings or, pencil drawings are, magnificent and they're successful. Sometimes they're sketches. And I think if you look at your work as sketches to get you where you're going. And then the opposite side is, I teach a lot for PPA and for professional photographers, and they're not necessarily given the opportunity to find that process. And the process is a gift. And it's not that easy, because a lot of us are making a living. So we don't always give ourselves that time. So maybe one of the things you can try is just 10 minutes a day. Try it for 3 times a week. Just spend 10 minutes a day looking or talking to your art, or photographing or making art. Just 10 minutes a day. It's very manageable. Again, it's that credibility, that it's that creativity muscle that has to go, be used. I've talked about that a lot in the past, is that you can't just go out and run a marathon. You can't necessarily go out and just make, art that's going to be really significant to you. It takes time. So anyway, I hope that's helping. Any other questions or not yet? I'm thinking, James, you there?
I'm here. One of them wants to know how to stifle the little voice that tells you you can't.
Okay, so Rumi, I don't know if you saw my quote this week. He's a Sufi poet. He wrote this wonderful quote about the guest house. And it's basically, you should look it up. It's basically about how we have monkey mind. Our mind goes a million miles an hour. It's telling us these negative stories. It's telling us things that we don't want to hear. And the more we resist it, the louder it gets. Have you noticed that? It's something, the good news is we all have it. The other good news is that we can learn how to just say, hey, thank you very much, but I don't need you anymore. Or that doesn't serve me anymore. It's a habit. I had those. I have them all the time. I had it today with monkey mind doing all these things like, you should have had backup. You should have done this earlier, yada, yada, yada. But that didn't serve me at all. So that's one thing to do, is just pay attention to it and recognize it. Say, oh yeah, that's the monkey mind going, I don't need you anymore. That's not who I am. That doesn't serve me. That's a real good one. Does it serve you? If it doesn't serve you, it must serve us, because otherwise we wouldn't continue with it. So just try to let it go, and then maybe distract yourself a little bit. Go to something, listen to a meditation, or go outside. Go look at something pretty. Go take a picture. Anything. I talked about last month about how I was, up in tight ball, and I went out shooting, and my whole energy changed really quickly. So it's not an easy thing. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But the other thing that's wonderful about creativity is we can channel those demons. We can channel those voices and say, okay, let me put it out in my work. It doesn't have to be in my head anymore. It doesn't have to be destructive. It can be constructive. And that's a real good thing. And that would be a question that I would love to ask you and my students, is like, how can you make something that's destructive into being constructive? I've done that. I mean, if you look at my work, you can tell a lot about who I am and what those voices are like in my head. So anyway, that was a great question. I think maybe what we'll do is ask James some questions now, and then maybe if there's some of you that might want to share some other questions that you have about your work and your process, we can go back to it. The thing, it's really important, and I've been doing it. I have to redo it because my lifestyle has changed. I'm no longer, a full-time mom and having a wedding and a portrait business. So my brand has changed. My art has changed. So the more, and I just write about it, and then I write and write and write, and then I take the words that really resonate with me, and I circle them, and then I put it together, and it's like kind of like a word game for me. But if you're not clear, it's, again, you have a roadmap, okay? My roadmap is to get to clarity on my creativity. So my roadmap is I want to go to Texas on tomorrow. So how am I going to get there? I know I have to get on a plane. I know I have to get to Dallas. I know Shelly's going to pick me up. So it's a roadmap. I want to drive to San Diego. I have to have a direction. I have to start somewhere. It doesn't mean that you can't take side roads. It doesn't mean you can't stop for a day. But if you don't have an end result in mind, which can change, it's hard to get there. And that is also a muscle of something to do. And the more you do it, it becomes a game and fun. And then you have results. So anyway, James, you there?
Hi, Laurie. I'm still here.
Okay.
So I just want to, like, a little reflection from my end of things. on what you're talking about as far as the roadmap is concerned. I think it's really super important. We talked last time when I was on about putting your message out into the world and being clear on what you wanted. I think it's super, super important that you realize that everything that you're doing, if you're doing something on social media, if you're doing something on a website, if your goal is to build a name for yourself, or if your goal is to build a business for yourself, I think what's most important is that you realize that you are the navigator of the user who's going to be looking at your stuff. You're asking people on social media to like your photograph, and what is the purpose of that? A like does nothing for you outside of Facebook. It doesn't do anything for you outside of Instagram. You need to take the next step and ask that person who likes your photograph or whatever it is that you're presenting to them via social media to do something. And the whole purpose of what you're doing, the time that you have committed to putting onto social media and onto your website, is to get them to do something. And you need to be clear about what it is that you want to do. So that's the kind of message that I've been trying to dole out to some of the people, and it's been a really great success. I want to say thank you, Laurie, for the opportunity last week or last month to be with you on Tea with Laurie and to be able to offer up my services to the several people that I have been working with for the past month very successfully. I also want to offer one more time to the first 3 people who email me a free 30-minute session where we can talk about that path, so that we can talk about that roadmap that you are drawing for the other people that are using your digital media. I think it's really important, if you're not going to do that, if you at least take a step back and look at the funnel that you're creating for those people. Where are you sending them, and what are you asking of them when they get there? I think that being clear on your message, part of that is being clear on what you're asking for. And if you're not clear, if you're not asking for those things that you need to be asking for, you're not going to get them. So that's been my big learning from this past month of working with the several people that we've worked with for since the last year with Laurie. And I think that's the message that everybody may need to hear right now. I'm not seeing any questions pop up, but what I think that everybody needs to start with is, what's your message and what do you want? So when you get to when you get to your place, wherever that is, that funnel that takes you there, what are you asking for from that person, and being clear on that. So I think that's the message that I want to get across today. And
Yeah, and I think it's the same, we've talked about this all along, is that we have to have a structure around the creativity, which is clarity and structure, and the same thing with the branding and the social media. Because otherwise, I mean, how often do you tell me, I complain about how much time I am doing social media, and you said, well, what's the goal? How do you streamline it? And so once you have a clarity, like I have a message with Tea with Laurie, I know what I have to say, so it makes it much easier. But if I sit behind a blank piece of paper or screen and say, I don't know what I'm going to do, it wastes time.
Laurie, we have a yes, you're right, it does waste time, and it's really important that you have that clarity in everything you do. Without that clarity, without a clarity of message and a clarity of purpose, you're never going to get anywhere that you're trying to go. It's like trying to navigate someplace and the map being wet with and the ink being drained off the map. The reason why I started to stumble a little bit is because I got a little pop-up notice. Liz says, I was driving home, only just now able to type and comment, hi. I wanted to add that before I started doing the soon photos, I
Mhm.
was afraid I was being too weird compared to what most people do with their photography. Then you helped me embrace my weirdness. Now I love it. I'm weird, and that makes me happy. Thank you, Laurie, for helping me to allow myself to unleash my inner freak.
You know, and this is, I'm gonna tie it all in, is that, you know, I witnessed this woman is a freaking amazing, and the freak part is freaking amazing. And but you know, it's scary to reveal yourself to others, especially people you don't know. It's also sometimes scary to own it and to put it out there and for you to see that side of you. But you know, you did it. You had a tribe around you that was very supportive, and I give you so much credit for just persevering. And you know, not every turn that you did worked, but you have, here's a big thing. You have to make every single picture you make today or you did in the past in order to make the picture that you do tomorrow. So by keeping it in your head and thinking about it doesn't work. Now I know Liz's process, it's much different than mine, it's much different than most, but what she does is she draws, she plots everything out, she plans everything, and it works for her. It's authentic to her. And so as that has grown, it's giving her an outlet to really own that part of who she is and make these, you know, incredibly stunning images that inspire other people and probably give them hope to you know, to ask questions and to, you know, exhibit feelings that they may have stuffed down inside. I think that's what creativity is about. It's like, you know, when you eat too much, there's no room. You can't even think. And so we want to be able to express and get it out. So thank you very much for being vulnerable and a wonderful model to so many people, Liz.
Jean is saying, hi, Laurie. Can't wait to see you at Texas school. Got to get some senior graduation cards ready for a client and do my homework for you. See you soon.
Oh, thanks, Jean. Jean just came in yesterday, so I'm really excited about you coming, and hope that everyone just comes in with a fresh mind. And that's the other thing, is that sometimes we go into new situations with assumptions, and assumptions don't work. You know, we want to explore, be explorers. What if you took a month till next time? You know, I would love to put this out here. I'm not sure if some of you guys are ready for this, but what if we took a month to explore, to make an image that, just one image that is so unlike you, you know, and it may take a while to get there, and then put it up on Tea with Laurie or put it up with Visual Visionaries. And then after that, we could look at it, we can talk about them. This is a safe environment. So anything else?
That's all that popped up. Liz said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Liz. um, so, you know, I walk the talk. That's why I can say a lot of this stuff, because a lot of what my students are feeling and doing, I've been there. I've been to times where I mean, I go out to shoot and I said, why am I doing this? I have no idea what I want to do. I mean, it's just like, sometimes I will just shoot because it feels yummy. It feels good. Don't you like to have something that, you know, just will kind of wipe out the day if we've had, you know, a complex day? But sometimes we want more. And that is, you know, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's like cooking. If you baking, I can't bake because it's a linear thing, but you have to have all the ingredients, you have to put them in order, but then you get an end result. So if you don't think it, you can think about it sometimes with analogies with other things, like cooking, like baking. So you get the ingredients, which might be, if you're drawing, a pen and paper. With Liz, it might be pen and paper and ideas. She makes her own props, she makes her own masks. So, you know, it's like, you know, we can story tell. That's another one of things that we're going to be talking a lot about in the future, is storytelling. Whose story is it? What story do you want to tell? Again, that's the clarity. But I think if you could do one thing between now and next month, is ask yourself, who you are as an artist. What does that mean? I'm a photographer, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a photographer who loves to, who are you? Own those things and then put it together. We're a tapestry. And as you see the words or as you see the images, then you can create a picture. Most of my students, when they start working with me, they don't make work prints. They don't have little images of the photographs that they took. And so it's on the computer screen. How do you learn anything from it? Our imagery will tell us the direction we need to go. It's kind of a hard thing to do on a 45-minute Google Hangout, but there is a protocol, and I am actually putting a book together. It's on creativity, and it's going to be a guidebook, a pathway, and it's going to be kind of structured because you got to start somewhere, and then again the roadmap. Where's your destination? What does it mean? Everyone does art for different reasons. Everybody does creativity for different reasons. It could be just to feel good, and that's not just to feel good, but to feel good. Or it could be that you want to inspire other people, or that you want to work things out in your personal life. So it's really exciting, and we're very, very lucky to have careers and loves in creativity like we do. But it takes time. It's not something that you can just do overnight. So my assignment for you guys is to start writing every day. Just, and it could just be, I can't believe I accepted this challenge. And it is a challenge. What if you wrote 3 pages a day? What would happen? Maybe nothing, but I don't think you're going to be any the worse for wear for it. And you could take a photograph of yours and say, hey, I don't really understand this image. I'm going to write three pages of it. I'm going to write about what it physically is about. Like I have a photograph above my computer, which is, many of you probably know it. It's kind of one of my more famous pictures. And it's this woman on a white horse, an Arabian horse, and she's laying backwards. It's in infrared. So I could just talk about that image and say, that's what's in the image. There's a horse there. She's in a bustier. She's in, this, that, there's shadow on the grass, talk about specifically the elements there. And then you could talk about, what kind of feelings do you get? What kind of feeling did you have when you took the picture? What is it the feeling for me of this picture is total trust in this horse, because she's laying back and her heart is open. So she is just, accepting of, the moment. So those are very, very important things to kind of think about. What are your images about? Because your subconscious is bringing things out. Gary Collins, I don't know if you're on today, but, follow him on Facebook. He's doing some really dramatic, interesting work. And there's a lot of other of you. I don't see any names today, so I don't know who is up. You could look up at Liz Codner. I'm not sure if you're still going by Codner on Facebook. If you want to pop up your Facebook page so people can see, get inspired by other people. I look at people's work all the time.
Gary, while you were, just before you mentioned his name and posted, I can't emphasize how much having a tribe has meant to my work. So Gary did, actually, just before you mentioned his name. So Gary, if you want to put your Facebook page up, that would be awesome. And it looks like Liz is on as well. I can see a few of the names. Liz Codner is on there. And Liz is saying it says Gary's watching. I didn't mean to jump in. Katie S. says, hi, Laurie. How do you overcome a creative block when you're working on a project and the images aren't coming out the way you envision them?
Well, that's really interesting, Katie, because a couple things can happen. Sometimes, I think you'd need to be more specific, but one of the things that happens is sometimes the images are coming out in ways that you need to pay attention, because sometimes there's something else that, we get so locked in. Okay, if you could, maybe on the bottom say, is this for a commercial shoot or for something more personal? Part of it is, what is it that you want? Because we go out to shoot and and I'll say to students, I'll say, what are you shooting? I don't know, the tree. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to do? Well, I don't know. We think the camera can figure it out for us, and that doesn't work. Some of you have taken classes with me know that I give emotions. Like, and you can pick one. Say, how are you feeling today? And you could say, I'm feeling kind of sorrowful. Well, then you have to go to a place of feeling sorrowful when you are taking that picture, because otherwise it's not going to happen. The camera, again, we put the camera up to our eyes so quick that we don't have that opportunity to feel and to express ourselves. So, maybe do a little trial of when you go out to shoot, if something's not working, look at it for like 5 minutes without the camera. Or if you have a client, what is it you're trying to say? But do it without the camera, have a discussion. And then, grab it inside of you and then feel it. And if you have Nadine Stevens is really a wonderful model who I use at Peters Valley, and a bunch of you know her. So I was going through a really kind of weird time a couple of years ago, and I said, hey, Nadine, she has the curly hair, the light skin that I had when I was younger. Well, I still have curly hair. But so I asked her, I said, you're my surrogate. So she's my surrogate. Your models are your surrogate. The subjects that you photograph are your surrogates. So I said, listen, foundations are breaking down around me. My beliefs are changing from the way I was brought up. So I want to photograph from that. So I photographed a down door that had a cross on it. And so I made a story. And the more we get involved and clear, the better we are going to be with the results. And that's a judgment. The more the results are going to represent who we are. So it takes time, and it also takes time of looking at your work. You have to make the images that don't work, but then you've got to look at them and say, hey, it didn't work because of this, this, and this, because then it's information for later on. It's the same thing if you were running a race and you wanted to do a 9-minute race and it's 12 minutes, then you have to go back and analyze why that did not happen. Was it the way you were feeling? Was it the way you were thinking? Was it what you ate? Was it the shoes? So you have to excavate. You almost have to be a detective. Whoa, that was long-winded.
We've got, Gary did post, Katie was talking about any projects, but especially with ones with deadlines. She was concerned about having that deadline and the pictures not coming out quite the way she's envisioned them, fighting both tides.
That's really hard with deadlines, because the creative process does not always do well with deadlines. And so that's where you've got to really explore. And you know what, if you want to, because we're kind of running out of time, if you want to be more specific, either maybe on Visual Visionaries, and let me know, I can help you through that a little more. I think that it's kind of hard for me to say without knowing more specifics as to what's happening. And again, it's clarity. It sounds like, who are you photographing for, your client or for you? And then, the more clear you can be on what specifically is not working for you, that would be really helpful to tell me. And if you can do that quickly, that would be great. Otherwise, we're going to have to wrap up in a couple of minutes. So Katie, why don't you do that while I do the giveaway? So can you pop that slide back up, James? That was up before.
Which one?
That one, thanks. So you may have to read it, because every time I talk, it goes away.
So the 10th person that tweets what I learned on #WithTeaWithLaurie will win a private 30-minute tutorial with me, Laurie Klein, on your choice of subjects. For example, infrared, marketing your photographs, or finding your visual voice.
So you got to do that now, and the 10th person, James, will tell who that is. And this is again part of this of these personal tutorials that I'm doing, is that it's really great to do. I can't tell you the students I've worked with, how they're winning awards, they're happy with what they're doing, they're exhibiting, they're doing books. So it's something that is, really beneficial for you to grow, because one of the other things that happens as artists, we're kind of secluded. We can't really make art in groups. So we don't always get that feedback. We don't always get, hey, KDS, I might look at your picture and say, oh, what do you think about this? Or what do you, because you're so closely tied into it that, again, how do you become more objective? I remember when I first had my first gallery, and I was exhibiting people's work, and this guy came in and he says, will you exhibit my work? And I said, all right, well, let me look at it. So he takes his picture and he's looking up in this ether saying, isn't this a wonderful photograph? And, it was just so special and it should be up on the wall. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the snapshot saying, I don't get it. And I said, tell me about it. He says, well, I was on my honeymoon. We'd been drinking and I was in love. And I didn't see where the photograph matched up with his feelings at all. So that's a real important thing, especially because he was not being objective. He was being subjective. His emotions were too involved. So do we have the 10th person, or are we going to have, well, if it's taking a while, we can always announce it on Tea with Laurie later on tonight.
We may have to announce it a little bit later. We have we have some people who are concerned that they can't tweet on the hashtag Tea with Laurie, but they can use the hashtag on Facebook as well. So if they go to the Tea with Laurie page and use the hashtag on a comment or a post, that can count as well. I have a couple more comments here. Hi, Laurie. Kevin says, I'll miss you next week. Interesting, last week I shot without my glasses and not looking through the viewfinder. The outcome works for me.
Wow. Can I just say something? That is so incredible, Kevin, and I will miss you next week. Maybe next year, but that's so incredible to share. And that happened to me recently, is that Lens Baby sent me a lens to try out, and I'm having trouble seeing it, focusing it with my right eye. I think I'm getting a cataract. I hope not. But anyway, so I went to my left eye and use that, and so it's so different than my infrared that it made me look and see things differently. So I think that's so brilliant that you were aware of that, Kevin, and I can't wait to see it because you are a talented guy.
Liz Blasting Game says, I love what you told me to shoot one for thee and one for me.
Well, and you should definitely look at Liz's infrared portraiture and the work that she's doing, because thank you for sharing that. But her work is just, it's solid, it's inspirational, and it's really yummy when you see it. And she's a new Albuquerquean. I don't know if that's the right word, but thanks for sharing. And that one for me and one for thee. That's another thing too, KDS, is try that. Do one that you think the client wants and one totally for you. We talked about that before, and I think it's just a brilliant way to try different things. Okay.
That's it for now. I'll let you know.
Okay, so it's difficult for me because I never see who's on, and I know that people are on like YouTube and Tea with Laurie and Google Hangout. I don't even see on the side anything, any of the group chats. So if you guys, I mean, I can be more helpful and also learn more from you too. If you guys could participate more on Visual Visionaries on Facebook or on Tea with Laurie. The Visual Visionaries is more of a safe haven for the tribe kind of thing. And excuse me, Liz, Gary, and both Liz's. If you guys could put up some of your work on there, that would be really wonderful, so that people can see what I was talking about and what you're talking about. And we're all about inspiring each other. It's not, what I love about this format and the way I teach is, most of you have taken classes with me, like I've said, and we're never allowed to say I like something or I dislike something. It works or it doesn't work. Because when you say, oh, I don't like it, it's subjective. It's about you. It's not about the image. And you could say it works for me because of this, this, and this. But so that becomes safe. It doesn't become judgmental. I've had, actually, Liz Codner has reamed some people out for picking my images apart and saying that compositionally it wasn't good. And I got apologies galore afterwards. But you know, if you don't feel that the work works, tell me why, not like this just isn't a good picture kind of thing. So let's create a supported tribe. I think some of these questions, I would like to pose some of these questions in a couple months, and maybe people will feel more comfortable with it, because you can learn a lot when you put yourself out there. So anyway, it was really great being with all of you tonight. The next Tea with Laurie is May 26th. And between now and then, I go to Texas. Then I'm home for a few weeks getting my Mother's Day promotions and portraiture in line. And then I leave on the 12th for France. We were going to try a Tea with Laurie in France, but there's like a 8-hour time difference, and I don't think that'll happen. So we're going to go into a week later. So when I come back from France, I'm sure I'll have a lot of new ideas and exciting things and stories to share with you. So James, anything else that you want to say?
It looks like Liz Blastingame is the 10th person to hashtag for you.
Wow, great. I'll look forward to it, Liz.
And Liz Codner says, "You work for me, Laurie." And I'm not sure what she's saying it to, but she says, "Ha ha ha, I forgot about that. That was great. I'll kick ass for you."
You way to go, Liz. That's great. Okay, so James, thank you again for being on and your wisdom. And I hope to see all of you guys next month. Thank you.